I thought for 3 quarters, Trey Lance played about what they would have wanted him, how they would have wanted him to play. He did not look shook. He looked like he was in control. He was, running this creative running game, and there were moments where, he could have said, "Oh no, I'm taking this one," in some of those, but he played within the system. In that fourth quarter, when you're all of a sudden down by 9, your defense has sort of let you down. Though, again, like we said, that also hats off to the Bears for being able to realize, okay, now we have some field position here. Let's show what we have, and using Justin Fields in a way that Kyle didn't really use Trey today. With a little bit of play action and rolling out and allowing him to use his legs, and then taking advantage of the Niners' aggressiveness of some of those penalties. If we are going to ask Trey Lance to come from behind in every fourth quarter down by 7 or more, it's not going to be that great. I don't think he is ready to be that guy. But with a balanced attack, with the defense playing well, with him having to make some key third down throws, I thought he played pretty well. But again, you put him in that spot in the fourth quarter, playing in the weather like he did. I didn't want to see him fail, of course, but I didn't really have faith that was going to be a moment for him to shine. I thought he was shining when the team was shining throughout those first 2.5 quarters or whatever.
I think it goes back. Part of it goes, and again, I want to continue to preface this that I am an acknowledged Trey stan, so I'm pretty much always going to see a glass half full. So, but with so I want to temper that, but I do agree. Going back to your first point, I think that a creative run game helps him, and it
Yes.
makes him much more effective if you are, within I think he, as we go forward, we will see that he shines brightest when in the midst of the other creativity of things happening, and creating situations where he can kind of get lost in the whole thing and just make plays. And Kyle is going to scheme him up 4 or 5 just completely open looks every game. And if he can, especially when they're deep looks, even if he's only hitting on half of those, and we can get huge chunk plays. um I've said it before. I'll take, 60 63% completion rate if we are attempting, if 25 percent of those attempts are 20 plus. I like that math. So, and he had 6 today, 6 20 plus attempts, which I mean is, I think, if what am I don't have a calculator, but out of 28, I think that's right around, that's close to 25%.
Yeah, it's a little under 25%.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of, I think, if you can be there, that that puts you right up amongst the league leaders for the past several years. So that was a positive. And another positive, as you mentioned, I really like the way he did a good job of, when things did get muddy around his feet, he wasn't looking to just duck his head and run. He tried to stay alive as a passer for as long as he could. So, and that's a good thing to see from a young quarterback. Is not, paying attention to the rush and continuing to look, find your reads downfield where they exist. So
And and I'm not here to be a Trey apologist in any way, but there were moments where the Niners shot themselves in the foot a little bit. The one you already mentioned, where Niners are driving and cruising, and then Debo fumbles with about 10 minutes left in the first quarter.
yeah,
They put that in the end zone. that it sort of sets a
It's a
different
different
tempo for
game.
this
It's a
game.
different game.
There was a moment when they had another good drive, and then McGlinchey got beat for a sack to stall out. Just over 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and you know, he was also taking big hits, right? Like there were when he had to actually run the football, he was not looking to get down. He was looking to extend the drives, and there's a bit of a thing where as a fan you're like, yes, he's trying to get it, but then at the other thing you're like, oh my gosh, dude, like we cannot have you get hurt. This is a long season. Do you think I mentioned this in our group chat during the game? The way their ability to pass block for Trey, I think is going to be, you know, maybe if you can prioritize what are the most important things. Like, I thought it was like, I don't know, I wouldn't say they were disappointing, but they also didn't give me confidence that this line is going to hold up and that they're not going to make any changes. Like there was a moment late where Banks just looked like he was gassed, like he
Yeah.
couldn't even really do anything. And so with this offensive line and how valuable Trey is to this future, it's just I don't know if it's poor GMing, if it's whatever it is. The ability to not pass block for this guy could be like the proving point of the entire season.
It's so interesting because clearly when they're, and again, I'm not a huge talent evaluator either, but it appears to me that they prioritize run blocking with these dudes because, you know, aside from Trent, who does everything, all of them profile as, you know, above average run blockers.
Yeah.
All of them. Banks does. Brindle's kind of different, but center, what you expect from your center is kind of different. Center's supposed to be a smart guy who can
Right.
get everybody in space and just not get beat up. Or if you can just not get blown back
Yeah.
into the center's lap, into the quarterback's lap, you're good there. Burford kind of regressed, as I thought, during camp, but he profiles as a very good run blocker. But Glenchie's a good run blocker. But all of those dudes have questions. It'll be interesting to see when the advanced stats come out tomorrow, the pressures and the pressure numbers. Because I even had Quinn got Trent once this day. I
Yeah.
had Trent giving up one. I had Banks giving up one, and then the one with McGlinchey for sure. I counted those. But yeah, so it wasn't like he was under siege like he was sometimes in camp. It was, there were days where it was just like crazy. It was like almost, I don't know if you I've coached Pop Warner, and there's times when the defense is so good that it's like you can't even run. It's like, what are we? You guys, the coach has to tell them, hey, look, you guys got to give us a look. We can't,
Yeah.
we just can't even run anything. And there were days like that. It wasn't that, but I think I've said all along that that's what I think this season is going to come down to, is our ability to keep him clean, especially with that quick pressure up the middle. Because people say Kyle can scheme around poor pass protection, which, okay, I in theory I understand that, but I've never seen an offensive scheme that deals with quick pressure up the middle. If that's happening, it's hard to run any good offense, both passing and running the ball. You can't have guys just blowing by you, playing 2 and 3 yards into your backfield.
And I think one of the main differences between Trey and Jimmy that leans in favor of Trey is his ability to create time so that he can throw the ball downfield, because Jimmy is a one or two hit, wonder. It's like this guy, boom, ball's out, because he couldn't create that opportunity with his feet if the pass protection broke down. However, if the pass protection is even worse this year, Trey's going to be doing a lot of creating time with his feet and not being able to then set his feet and throw. Like there's going to be a lot of situations where people are going to think, man, why, this guy's open and why doesn't he hit him? It's like, well, because the guy's running for his life.
Right.
And so there's going to be scenarios like that too. So I hope they can figure out how to shore that up, because I think that is the most important thing for Trey's development, is to be able to sit and throw. Because there was a couple times where I was like, man, if he was just able to set his feet, that throws right in there, but he's kind of, off to the side, or he's running and the throw's short. And, wet ball, all of those things are the reason. But also, like, he's a really young quarterback. He hasn't thrown the reps that he will eventually have thrown, 2 and 3 and 4 years into his career.
Well, and again, he is a young quarterback, and I am not by any stretch of the imagination. We're doing a lot of prefacing in this segment, in this podcast. But Tom Brady, the greatest, when there's not, if he's got pressure up the middle, he's a different quarterback. It's just it's hard to establish a rhythm if you're getting pressure in your face. Now, what Trey will give you, the trade-off is, if he can create time, kind of like with Fields today, if he can create time, what that does give you is opportunities for big plays.
Yes.
But the trade-off is, not having that time also does not really give you an opportunity to get any kind of real rhythm in the passing game. So you'd prefer to be able to, like you say, have him be able to set his feet and, make the throws that are there, rather than having to run for his life and try to, kind of create something like Favre-like kind of situation.
Right.
It's,